In the last class we learnt about encoders and decoders, and in this class it is very similar thing. We are going to learn something known as multiplexers and demultiplexers. Okay, what is an multiplexer circuit? Again, it is an combinational circuit. It is an selection is controlled by the select lines, and there will be 2 to the power of n input lines, and that input will be routed to one of the output line. Okay, so this is also known as an data selector. Now, for example, so it will be clear with this example. Suppose I have 2 input lines. So a 2 into 1 multiplexer will have 2 input lines and 1 output line and 1 select line. Okay, now if the select is 0, whatever is the input I0 will be routed towards the output. Okay, so in this case, if select is 0 and the I0 will be routed to the output. So if I0 is 0, output will be 0. I0 is equal to 1, output will be 1. Okay, so this is known as 2 into 1 mux. Okay, so there are 2 inputs, I0, I1, S is the select. So select basically connects. Okay, if S is equal to 0, it is going to connect I0 to the output. So I0 will be available at the output. Similarly, if the select is 1, I1 will be connected to the output. So whatever is the value of I1 will be available at the output. Okay, this is how hardware wise we can implement an digital multiplexer. Okay, so there could be analog multiplexers also, where if you select, whatever is the analog signal available at I0 will be available at the output. Whatever is the analog input available at I1 will be available at output. Okay, but here we are talking in the digital domain. Okay, so that is why this implementation is like this here. Okay, now if you see, if S is equal to 0 out here, right? So in that particular case, excuse me, so this AND gate will be disabled, this AND gate will be enabled. So I0 is now going to be available at the output. Okay, because this is 1, this AND gets enabled. If I0 is 1, so 1 1 and or output will be 1. If it is I0 is 0, it will be 0 here, this will go. And similarly, if S is equal to 1 here, this AND gets disabled because there is an inverter placed here. So 1 will give you 0 here. So this AND gate will get disabled. This AND gate will be enabled. 1 is available here. Enabled means this is 1 out here. So the output is a direct function of I1 here. Now I1 will be available at the output. So this is 2 into 1 mux. Okay. Similarly, you could have 4 into 1 mux. So you will have 4 inputs and 1 output and 2 select lines now. Now if you see here 0 0, if the select lines is 0 0, then I0 will be routed towards the output. Okay, this will get connected here. So if you see here, this is showing that connection here. Okay, S is equal to 0. Let me put for the first condition 0 0. If it is 0 0, this will be connected out here. Okay, and this is 4 into mux using 2 into 1 mux. Okay, so instead of okay, let me go back. This is direct. This is direct implementation. Okay, you can have an hardware where you have an 4 input lines and 1 output line. So like in the previous case, we had an 2 input AND gates. Here we can have an 4 input AND gates, and again you can you can use an decoder and select one of those AND gates. So this is known as the direct implementation, where one of the lines get connected. You can also use an 2 into 1 mux to generate 3 2 into 1 mux to generate 1 4 into 1 mux. So if you see here, this is how the connection will be. This is S0 S0, S1 is given here. Okay, this is S0 S0 here given here. Now S0 is the least significant bit in this case. Okay, now if you see here, if you 0 0 for 0 S is equal to 0 0, the first condition if you take here, so it is S0 is 0 here. So from I0 the signal will be available here. Again here S1 is also a 0, so again this 0. So you will find I0 is available from this path to the output. Okay, now if I take the next condition, so this is the condition for this particular diagram, right? Now if I take the next condition for 0 1, so S0 is here, so this connection will be made here now. because it is an S0 is 1 here, so S0 is 1 here, so this connection will be made here, whereas S1 is 0, so again it will take this particular connection. So you will find I1 is getting transmitted from here to here, and I1 is available out here. For the third combinations, it is 1 0 here. So now since it is S0 is 1, if you see here, this connection also is made out here, but then this particular S1 is going to connect only this mux out here, right? So if you see here for 1 0, this is the way I2 will transfer from here to here. It will come here, and S1 is 1 out here in this particular case. S1 is 1 here, so it's going to take from the bottom pin. So now I2 will be routed here, and from the fourth combination where all both are 1, so you will find this is made here, this is made here, doesn't matter, because this is not going to switch here, so it is going to make a connection here out here. So this is now I3 is going to available from here like this to I3. Is it clear how an 4 to 1 mux can be implemented using 2 into 1 mux? All of you? Ayushman, is it clear? Yeah.
Sir, one doubt I have, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
In order to transfer as the output for input, S have to be 1 or S can be 0, 1, any.
No. These are there are two select lines, S0 and S1, and there could be 4 different combinations. For 4 different combinations, 4 different inputs are available. One of them will get connected to the output. Okay, let me go back. Right here, if you see S0 and S1, for 0 0, I0 will get connected to the output. Okay, for 0 1, 1 will get connected, I1. For 1 0, I2 will get connected. For I3, I3 will get connected to the output. Is this aspect clear? Is it okay till here? Okay. Now if you the same, this instead of this is known as an 4 into 1 mux. The 4 into 1 mux can be implemented by 3 2 into 1 mux also. So this is doing the same function. If you see here 0 0, right, 0 0 means these are the same lines. S0 and S1 are these two S0, they are the same lines. This is the S1 line. So when I give a 0 0, this connection is going to be made here, and similarly this connection is also going to be made here, but S1 is also 0, right? So this connection is going to be made here. So you will have I0 which is available as the output. Okay, for the first condition. For the second condition, 0 1. So 0 1 means this is going to be made the connection for S0. Since you are giving S0 is 1 here, so this is the connection which is going to be made. This is the connection which is going to be made here. But S1 is 0, so this is the connection which is going to be made. Now you have that's why I1 coming out here, right? For the third combination, you have 1 0 here. Right, for 1 0, you have since S0 is 0, this top 2 connections will be made, but S1 is 1, so this bottom connection is made. Now you will have I2 coming out, and for the fourth combination 1 1, I3 will be coming out here, because these 1 connections will be made. Is it clear to all of you now? Okay.
Yes.
For select lines, so if there is 2 select lines, then 4 different input combinations and 4 different lines will be there. One of them will get connected. Similarly, if I have an if I have 3 select lines, there will be 8 input lines, and one of them will be getting connected to the output line. Okay. So if there are 3 select lines, okay, listen carefully. If there are 3 select lines, there will be 8 input lines, and one of them at any given time will get connected to the output. Okay. So please refer to your textbooks how an 8 into 1 mux looks like. Okay, how an 8 into 1 mux can be implemented directly or using 3 4 into 1 mux. Okay, so this I have shown how an 4 into 1 mux can be implemented using 2 into 1 mux. Okay, so just go through your textbook and also try to understand how an 8 into 1 mux can be implemented using 4 into 1 mux also. Okay. So this is one mux. Okay, if you try to understand how this works, and if you will find there are one select line and one enable line. Okay, what it does is here in this particular case, it is an 4-bit data which is available, A2 to A0, B3 to B0. So this entire A3 to A0 is one set of data with 4-bit data. Similarly, B0 to B3 is an 4-bit data. The output is also an 4-bit data. Now this is also one kind of multiplexer. If you see here, if the enable is 0, okay, so only then all these AND gates will be enabled. Okay, so you can call it as active low enable. That means for this multiplexer to be in active mode, the enable line should be 0. Okay, why? Because in many TTL circuits you will find that is the case, where to activate an IC, it is not 1 which is given, it is 0 which is given there. Okay, now in this particular case also, if you see here, if enable is 0 out here, okay, all this will be 1 here. So all this 1 is given to all the 8 AND gates. So only then these AND gates will be enabled. Okay, if enable is 1, then the output will be all will be 0 here, because all these AND gates will get a 0 input and all will go 0. When enable is 0, these AND gates will be enabled. Once it is enabled, depending on S, if S is equal to 0, if S is equal to 0, this will be 1 here. Okay, so this 1 is given to all the 4 AND gates. So output will be A0, A1, A2, A3. If S is equal to 1, this will be 0, so all these 4 AND gates will go 0, these 4 AND gates will become high, so the output will be, okay, B0, B1, B2, B3. So this is a kind of multiplexer which, depending on S, will either connect this 4-bit data, this A 4-bit data to the output, or 4-bit data B to the output. Is it clear to all of you? Okay, so this is also a kind of multiplexer. Okay, now we also have something known as buffers, tri-state buffers. Okay, tri-state buffers is nothing but it is an normally input is available, output is available out here. Now if you give the control signal, okay, high, then this input will be available at the output. If you don't give the, if you give the control input as low here, the output will be in a high impedance state. Okay, that is, it is neither 0 or nor 1. It will act like an it will act like an high impedance in a circuit, open circuit kind of thing. Okay, so this hardware wise, and if you see the CMOS implementation, it looks something like this. Okay, we'll learn about CMOS later on in the course. Okay, so don't get too much worried about this hardware, this CMOS implementation as of now, because I'll teach you CMOS implementation towards the end of the course. I'm just giving a rough idea as of now. So if you see here, this is the input, and this is a PMOS and an NMOS. So you will get an inverted output out here, and similarly you have one more transistors, 2 transistors which is placed here. Okay, so if the enable control signal is low in this particular, is high, because it is bar, it is high in this case, so you will find there is an inverter placed here, so this transistors will get off, so it will become an high impedance. Okay, so you will have to remember that only this much for the time being, that what an tri-state buffer is. Okay, tri-state buffer is like the input will be available at the output if this inverter is if this buffer is enabled, otherwise it will be in high impedance state. Okay, so if you see, that is known as an tri-state buffer. So if you see here, these are the inputs which are there. These are the so in a tri-state buffer, the advantage is that you can connect all of them, interconnect like this. Okay, so if you see here, if you use a 2x4 decoder, so to make a multiplexer we can use tri-state buffers. So these are the 4 buffers which are used. Okay, now if I use a decoder, if I give 0 0, so this line will go high. so this will get enabled, so I0 will be available at the output. Okay, now this is again a decoder, right? So this is a multiplex implementation using decoder and tri-state buffers. Okay, so these are the select lines. Okay, so if I give 0 1, I'll have this particular line going high and this tri-state buffer will be switched on, so I have I1 coming to the output. Okay, similarly this is an tri-state buffer, I have an 0 2 coming here, right? If I give 1 0 here, this buffer will be enabled, so I2 will get connected here, and similarly if I have 1 1, this tri-state buffer will be enabled from here, from the decoder. So what the decoder does is, between two input lines are there, S0 and S1, one of the lines will go high. If one of the lines go high, one of the buffers will get enabled, and that particular corresponding input will be available at the output. Okay, so you can short circuit the outputs of the buffers, because the buffer which is not selected will act like an open circuit, so that will not disturb the output which is coming from any other buffer which is enabled. Okay, so these kind of buffers are available. Like in 74125 and a quad tri. So this is an 74 series and IC in which you have an 4 buffers. Only thing is there is a notch out here. That means to enable this buffer you have to give an 0 signal. So if you enable this, output will be available, A1 will be available at output. So these 4 buffers, these kind of ICs you can use to, if you want to implement a multiplexer. So along with this you have to use one decoder. So if you have a decoder and a tri-state buffer IC, you can make a multiplexer, you can assemble a multiplexer. Otherwise directly multiplexer ICs are also available. Now it is the same, like in the last class we learned how we can use decoders to implement the Boolean functions, right? So same thing, we can so in a similar fashion, if we have a multiplexer also, we can implement various Boolean functions. Now if you see here, a function f is given as 1 2 6 7. Okay, so if you have to implement this, these are the min terms. That means when the input call, so I am going to use this select line as an input combination, right? So if you see x is 0 0 0, then f is 0. So when I give 0 0 0 here, what happens? The 0 line is going to get connected to f. So I will put a 0 at the 0 pin out here, right? Similarly 1. So if I have 0 0 1 here, f has to be 1 here. So I put a 1 here. So this 1 will get connected. So when the input is 0 0 1 here, this 1 which you have connected to this 1 will come available here, right? So again 2 is also 1. So when I give 0 1 0, so I put 0 1 0 here, 2 will get connected to the output. So I am giving a 1 at the pin number 2. So similarly, so for whatever min terms 1 2 6 7, so 1 2 6 7, I have put an VDD voltage here. Okay, 1 means I am going to put an VDD voltage there, and 0 means I am going to ground those pins. So I can use an 8x1 multiplexer to implement this particular function. Is this clear to all of you? How this function can be implemented? Yeah, Sachin, is it okay? Kishan, right? Similarly, I can use this multiplexer to make an sum or carry also, right? There will be 3 inputs, A, B and carry in. So for what input combination f has to be 1, so you will have to see what are the min terms. So corresponding min terms you have to give 1. Okay, so you will implement this in LTSpice after your midsum exam, and again you will understand things more clearly once you implement things of your own. Otherwise it is pretty simple, right? Multiplexer design. So this is how we implement a function. Okay. Now we can also here we have there are 3 variables. Okay, there are 3 variables, and I have taken an 3 into 8x1 multiplexer, and I am giving 3 inputs out here, right? What I can do is I can also use an 4x1 multiplexer, where I give only 2 inputs out here, right? If I give 2 inputs, and what now if you see here 0 0. So this is also x is equal to 0 0, and z is 0 and 1. f is what? For z is equal to 0, f is 1. For z is equal to 1, f is 1. So for 0 0 out here, I am going to give here a z. So if I give x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, f is related to z, right? Z is going to come out here. So f is equal to z. Is it so? If you see the truth table, that is the case, right? Now for the second one, for x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1, there are two conditions out here. Now if you see z is 0, f is 1, z is 1, f is 0, that means it is getting inverted out here. So I put z dash here. Right, so now z dash will come here. Now for the third combination, x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 0, this line will be connected here. So if you see here, irrespective of what is z, f is 0, so I put it 0 there. So this is 0 is going to come here. And for the last combination, for x is equal to 1 and y is equal to 1, for z is equal to 0 it is 1, z is equal to 1 it is 1. So irrespective of the value of z, it has to be 1. So I put 1 here. So is it understood, this concept? Yeah, Kishan, Sachin, Ria, anybody? Is this understood? Because you might have in exam to implement such functions. Okay, so this is a pretty simple thing, but you need to do some practice for these things. Okay. So this is what like what we discussed. X is equal to 0, y is equal to 0. You make what is f in terms of z. Okay, so this is f is equal to 0, f is equal to 1, and this is how we implement this, right? Okay, now it would be good if you could guess what is this implementation. Okay, if any one of you, if you could tell me. Okay, now if you see p equal to 0, if you give 0 0, okay, what is going to happen? This line is going to get activated here. What is this here? This is coming from an inverter here, and this is again coming from an inverter. So this is 0 1 0. So 0 is going to come here, right? If I give 0 1, it is going to available from here. This is going to get connected. So this is what? This is 0 here and inverter 1. So 1. So for 1 0, this is going to be here again 0 1 1 is going. For the third one, that is 1 1, this is 0. So this will come here and this is going to be 0. So what is this actually? It's an XOR gate, right? So PQ. It is F is actually P XOR Q. Like 0 0, I'm going to get an 0, and 0 1 and 1 0, I'm going to get 1. And for 1 1, I am going to get a 0. So this is an actually f, you can write it as p XOR q. Okay, so these are the kind of functions, different kind of functions you can implement using a multiplexer. Okay, so the technique is nothing like that. Either if it is asked like this, okay, if you are supposed to if you are having 3 variables, okay, you can use 8 into 1 mux, and then accordingly give digital input out here, either VDD or 0. Okay, or you just express in terms of logical input 0 and 1 here, right? In case it is asked to implement using 4 into 1 mux, okay, in that case you will have to make pairs like this 2 2 2 2, and then express f in terms of the third variable. Okay, so this is the second. So this is the 2 techniques which you will follow to design any boolean, to implement any boolean function using multiplexers. Okay, so these are the various kind of applications of multiplexers. So suppose this is an amplifier which gives various variable gain. So if you see the feedback path can be changed. So if you select 0 0, this switch will be closed. Okay, so in that case, if you see, when we learn probably about op amps in the next semester, you will see that the output gain depends on this resistance value. So by different combination, by switching any one of the switch at any given time, so you can change the gain of the output signal. So this is the input signal. okay, which is shown in blue line. This is the output signal. So you can increase the volume of say audio circuit or things like that. So multiplexers can be used in such circuits, or you have your L3 switch and you have several L2 switch like in your computer networks. So all these things will be multiplexed here, and the multiplexed signal will come here. Again it will be demultiplexed here. Okay, demultiplexing is exactly opposite of the multiplexing. Similarly, you have a single PC but you have several peripherals, right? So you use an demux. Okay, demux is again exactly opposite of multiplexing. You have one single line, you have 0 0, then this will be connected to here. If you have 0 1, this will be connected here. If you have 1 0, it will be connected here. So you will have a single output coming here with an demultiplexer will be there within your PC, because there is a single processor. At any given time, the processor will give one output. Time for a few seconds, it will give output to the printer, and then it will give it to say pen plotter or to the fax machine or similarly. So several peripherals can be connected to the same processor using an demultiplexer. Okay, so these are some of the applications of multiplexers and demultiplexers. Okay, so in 74 series ICs also, which we are going to see in the lab, there are several encoders and decoders and tri-state buffers. Several of them are available. Okay, so we are going to use some of them for our assignment. I will explain you that later on after your mid-sem exam. Okay, so that's all for today.